The adventures of the new version of Superman continued this week in Absolute Superman number 11. If you haven't been keeping up with this bold new take on the Man of Steel, please give me a moment or two to bring you up to speed. In the Absolute universe, Superman isn't the all-American boy raised in Kansas by a kindly couple of farmers. No, instead he spent most of his early life with his parents on the planet Krypton, where he witnessed the planet's demise firsthand. Krypton society had a strict caste system where the intellectual elites lorded it over the working classes. Superman's parents were part of the working class, and they were able to prove that the planet was heading towards disaster. In an attempt to save as many people as possible, they built a spaceship to get off of the planet. While Krypton society ended in riots and ruin, the El family and some of their friends and neighbours tried to escape, but were caught in the planet's explosion. This left teenage Kal-El alone in space, alongside the vessel's artificial intelligence Sol. When they eventually found their way to Earth, Kal-El landed in Smallville where he met the Kents, but was almost immediately descended upon by the tyrannical Lazarus Corps, headed by Ra's al Ghul. Ever since then, Superman has been on the run, going wherever he needed to be to help the downtrodden and displaced people of Earth. At the same time, Lazarus agent Lois Lane has been hot on his trail, as have the Omega Men, a group of revolutionaries that opposed Ra's al Ghul. In the last issue, Superman confronted the Lazarus Corps at their base in Greenland, a place where there was little to no sunshine, and he defeated their most powerful peacemaker, Chris Smith. However, his victory was short-lived as the leader of the Omega Men revealed herself to be Talia al Ghul, and literally stabbed Superman in the back with a kryptonite blade. Ra's al Ghul intends to indoctrinate Superman, making him his adopted son, and to use him to help bring about the destruction of Earth for his god, Darkseid. And when this issue begins, it starts with a flashback to Krypton, or at least it looks like a flashback. We're shown the Science Council of Krypton condemning the elves for inciting riots, and the young Kal-El is sentenced to the Phantom Zone orphanage. In response, Kal lashes out in anger, using his heat vision indiscriminately. Of course, this isn't a real flashback, it's all part of Brainiac's brainwashing. As mentioned in earlier issues, Brainiac is a servant of Ra's al Ghul, someone who has been beaten into submission. In some ways, he resembles the new god Desaad, Darkseid's flunky and torture expert, creepily leering at Superman and drinking in his suffering. So, from that perspective, I guess that makes Ra's al Ghul a Temu Darkseid. Ra's al Ghul notes that the torture mustn't go too far though, because he wants his new son to have all of his faculties and see his truth, even if it'll take replaying the Kryptonian court scene 3,000 times to do it. One of the things that I thought was striking about this issue is the way it reflects the events in some of the other Absolute books. Batman is currently trapped in Arc M, being experimented on by Dr. Arkham and her team of lunatics, and Wonder Woman is navigating an ancient labyrinth housed beneath one of the most secretive government facilities on Earth, Area 41. While Wonder Woman has only been in the labyrinth for a short while, Batman was trapped for months. So I guess on the screwed scale of 1 to 10, Wonder Woman is at the lower end, Batman is at the top end, and Superman is somewhere in the middle. He endured weeks of psychological torture at the hands of Brainiac, forced to live through thousands of different agonizing scenarios where he's encouraged to give in and commit murder. However, he refuses to betray his ideals and won't harm anyone. Even when one scenario gives him the opportunity to get revenge on Brainiac, he still pauses before he goes too far, much to Brainiac's frustration. The thing is, Brainiac has access to Superman's memories. He knows everything about him and everything he's endured in his comparatively short life. He also captured Sol and is keeping him in a glass container. He knows which buttons to press, but Superman still resists. And Brainiac takes his frustrations out on his Brainiac drones, who are basically clones of himself before he started his weird self-experimentation phase. When he feels they speak out of turn, he issues a demerit, which involves them removing a body part like an eye or their tongue. Despite them being little more than clones of Brainiac, it's clear that they have independent thought, and Superman recognizes their sentience. Using a high-pitched whisper, Superman encourages the clones to rise up and save him. It's an ineffective rebellion, but it speaks to Superman's ability to inspire hope, and also shows how much Brainiac clearly loathes himself. The rebellion is short-lived, as Brainiac slaughters all of his clones. As Brainiac's treatment continues, Talia spends her time beating Lois Lane and Jimmy Olsen and preaching her father's sermon. All life is corrupt. Everything is a lie. Humanity contaminates everything it touches, and it must be stopped. She talks about destroying the world and rebuilding a new one from the ashes, and how Superman is going to usher in this new era of control and purpose. It's all very authoritarian, and exactly the kind of thing their god Darkseid believes in. When she says that everyone will have resources and a purpose, she describes it as something glorious to aspire to, completely ignoring the fact that Earth will be turned into a fiery ghetto. Yes, the remaining humans will have a purpose, as fodder for Darkseid. So it all sounds pretty grim and hopeless, doesn't it? And things are pretty dire, until retired Lazarus General Sam Lane turns up for an unscheduled visit and stages a breakout. Keep in mind that General Lane dedicated his life to the company, and he lost his legs in a battle with Primus. To learn that his cause, which he gave so much for, was a sham, radicalizes him. He's also not very happy that they've kidnapped his daughter. He smuggles in weapons via his prosthetic legs and breaks out Lois and Jimmy. Lane casually kills the peacemakers that stand in his way, despite the fact that he trained most of them, which further indicates how he has discarded his beliefs, if more proof was needed. Overall, their escape goes fairly smoothly until Lois and Jimmy insist that they need to rescue Superman as well. They have no idea how to free him from Brainiac's torture device, so they start pulling out cords and calling him by his name, Kal-El. Inside of his mind, Kal-El has finally given in at the encouragement of the Kents. The program tells him that they were wrong to tell him to run. He should fight for what he cares for. And he does that by incinerating the peacemakers, tearing out Ra's al Ghul's heart and throttling Primus. And just like that, he is released, and he is very unhappy. Talia, meanwhile, has killed General Lane, finishing the job she started years ago, as she and the peacemakers surround Lois and Jimmy. They instantly know that something's wrong with him, but they're powerless to pull him back. Superman displays an uncharacteristic show of force by crushing Brainiac's throat, something I'm sure he'll recover from, and shortly after, the facility explodes. So, yes, at the end of the issue it looks like Ra's al Ghul's plans have worked, but maybe a little too well. I have to wonder if he might have bitten off more than he could chew by unleashing Superman's pent-up rage. Absolute Superman number 11 is available now from all good comic shops. If you are based in the UK and don't have a comic shop near you, then you might want to use my affiliate link with the UK's biggest comic book retailer, Forbidden Planet. I have included a link in the pinned comment on this video. Alternatively, if the idea of hoarding a collection of comic books fills you with dread, I have 3 Batman number 1 blind bags coming in the mail. What is wrong with me? You may want to try getting a digital copy of the issue from Amazon. I also have an affiliate link with them, which you could use to help my channel out. This is also included in the pinned comment. To those that have read this issue, what did you think? For as much as the series can be dark and bleak, there are always bright spots, like the way Jimmy Olsen calls Kal-El his pal, a direct nod to the Silver Age of comics. Little bright spots like that help to prevent the book from feeling too dour. And speaking of bright spots, Brainiac's reaction to one of his drones suggesting that they make a portmanteau of Krypton meteorite and call it kryptonite made me giggle. The poor drone, though, cutting out his own tongue for making a perfectly sensible suggestion. Well, I guess that was the point, right? And I also got a good laugh about how General Lane showed absolutely no respect for Jimmy, refusing to give him a gun and calling him a talking matchstick. Is there no end of the disrespect Jimmy Olsen will face? I hope not. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Next time, I'll be back shortly with another video looking at Absolute Green Lantern number 6. This issue may very well reveal what exactly has been going on in the town of Evergreen. I mean, unless half the issue consists of flashbacks again, in which case it may all still be a mystery. And then next week, as there only seems to be one Absolute book coming out, I'm going to release a video looking at the brand new Batman series written by Matt Fraction. This is the 4th time that there has been a new Batman number 1, and it promises to be a big departure from what has come before. And after that, it'll be time to go back to the depths of Arc M in Absolute Batman number 12. Wayland and Batman are on the run from Bane, but Bane has his hands on their friends Harvey Dent, Oswald Cobblepot and Edward Nygma. What awful things are going to happen? We'll have to find out together. Hope to see you then.